We had people last night watching social media, watching the internet, and watching TV all at once, consuming it that way. Boy, were we multitasking last night. And Aaron Brindle is joining us once again from Google Canada. Hi, Aaron. How you doing?
Good morning.
I don't know if you ever left.
I know. I think I've been here for a week.
Okay, so and this election was unlike any other. We always say that with elections, but it definitely was, because the way we consumed and learned about this election changed different, and Google was a big reason for that.
Well, I think it was interesting. If you look at how Canadians searched for this information around this election, we saw all kinds of interesting trends percolate up like yesterday, especially around civic engagement, how to vote, who do I vote for? These are the kinds of questions people were asking Google. But, you know, you talk about previous elections. I think when you look at this election compared to 2008, 2011, two big words in terms of search interest, and that was strategic voting. We saw an enormous spike in searches for strategic voting this time around. There's a graph you can see. It was there's 6 to 1 in terms of searches this year compared to 2011 and 2008. So that may be part of the story as we we kind of go through these numbers.
And I think as well, the way I believe that the Liberals manipulated the internet better than all of the other parties. They knew how to get those stories on top of Google. They knew how to get the stories out there and how to use it, I think, more than the other parties. And that might be a big reason for that Liberal sweep.
Well, you know, actually, one interesting area to look at is YouTube videos. They really effectively used YouTube to kind of push their brand forward. And if you look at views, the views of these videos of the various parties actually map pretty well to some of the results we saw last night.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And did you see the sort of the same thing in searches as well, mirroring what happened last night?
Well, this is interesting. Like, I always say this, that search interest is not a poll, and it truly, truly isn't. You can't derive intention from this. But what's interesting is we had a map of kind of search interest looking at all the ridings across Canada. And at the outset of the campaign, Stephen Harper was the top search leader in 54% of those ridings. But something switched, and around kind of early October, it flipped over to Justin Trudeau, and going into last night, he was the top search leader in 50% of the ridings in Canada. And it's actually not that far off from what the results were.
And the one thing, and this has been my experience after every election, is what people want to know is what happened to my local riding. Nobody pays attention to their local riding the night of a national election. It's the next morning. And we have proof of that because our website is off the charts right now, where we have a link to what happened across Canada in your local riding. We have an interactive map, and I think that's what we're going to see a lot of today.
Who won the election is one of the top searches right now on Google, and yeah, if you type that in, you can get some very specific answers around how Canada's performed in your riding.
All right, so let's start searching the Jays all again now, shall we?
Please.
All right,
Let's
thank you very much. All right, thank you very much.